Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we are going to be talking about how the hiring away of offensive coordinator Dave Canales, as he's become the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, can have an effect on Baker Mayfield and what he decides to do this offseason. So I've made a lot of videos that are going to be scheduled to go up here in the coming days talking about Baker Mayfield and how he deserves a chance to re-sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He has earned that re-signing with the Bucs, so to speak. I feel like he deserves a re-signing, and ultimately, I still feel like there is a good chance, a strong chance, I will say, that that is going to happen. However, I propose this question to everybody. With the hiring away of Dave Canales, would that give Baker Mayfield some pause? Because Dave Canales' OC led Baker Mayfield to the best statistical season of his career. Over 4,000 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's not including the playoffs where Baker threw for over 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Now, in one of the first things that Baker Mayfield said after the loss to the Detroit Lions was, I really want to be back here. I want to have a second year in the system. That system is gone. Dave Canales is gone. He went to Baker Mayfield's former team, the Carolina Panthers. So now Baker Mayfield is going to have to learn a new offense yet again. Yes, Todd Bowles is still going to be the head coach of this team. It's also accurate to say that Todd Bowles doesn't have any input on the offense of this team. The offensive coordinator has all control of the offense. That was Dave Canales. And this entire year, it was talked about time and time again how Baker Mayfield had to learn underneath so many different offensive coordinators and be under so many different head coaches. That's going to happen again, folks. Not necessarily in the case of head coach, although I will make a video talking about that in a little bit. But in the case of offensive coordinator, it's going to happen again with Dave Canales being hired away. That is something that is notable. And if I was Baker Mayfield and I sat there and said, okay, yes, I love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization, and I do believe that is still the case. I think that it goes deeper than just the quarterback to offensive coordinator connection, right? I think that Baker Mayfield has a connection with Todd Bowles. I think that Baker Mayfield has a connection with Jason Light. I mean, the whole Bucs organization took the chance on Baker Mayfield and he delivered, right? But the idea of having to learn a new offense yet again. Would Baker Mayfield say, well, I've got to learn a new offense anyway? Do I maybe hit the open market and just see what options are out there and see if I can get a starting opportunity elsewhere? Maybe if like a guy, maybe go off and join a team that might be more talented than the Bucs. I don't know. I don't know necessarily if there's going to be a team out there that has a starting quarterback opening that's going to be more talented than the Bucs. That's a whole different conversation that we can have at some point. But will that give Baker some pause at fully committing to saying, boom, I want to re-sign? I don't know. I think that is a legitimate question that you can ask and is something that is worth asking. And whoever the Bucs bring in at OC, I think should have some type of connection to Baker Mayfield. That's why I talked about Zach Robinson being an option. That's why I talked about Thad Lewis being an option, some of the top candidates there, because they've worked with Baker Mayfield before. I think that should matter in the offensive coordinator hiring, interviewing process. Because look, I still think Baker can succeed. I was talking to Rhett Matthew of the Cannon Fire podcast, and he asked me the question, are you worried about Baker Mayfield and his production next year under a new OC? And the answer to me is no, if they are able to hire the right guy. And in my opinion, bringing in the right guy is somebody who can give you similar things and has a similar philosophy to what Dave Canales had, and also has had experience working with Baker. And the two guys that come to mind, Zach Robinson and Thad Lewis. Now, we don't know what Thad Lewis and Zach Robinson's offensive philosophies would be, but in the case of Zach Robinson, he's under Sean McVay coaching tree, man. He's going to have a West Coast style of offense. In the case of Thad Lewis, it's going to be a little bit tricky. He's been with Byron Leftwich already. He's been with Dave Canales already as well. So would we see a mix of offensive styles there? I don't know. It's something legitimately worth asking for both of those guys, what their offenses would look like. I think both guys would be very solid options. And if you are committed to Baker Mayfield still, even after? And does this give the Bucs some pause as well, by the way? Would they say, well, we're going to get a new OC, might as well get a new quarterback in this mix anyway? I don't know. I would say the answer to that is probably no. But there's just a lot to consider, right? That the hiring away of Dave Canales does have a ripple effect, and this is one of those effects, right? Where you talk about what is going to happen to Baker Mayfield now. Does this affect his decision moving forward? Does this affect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' decision moving forward on Baker Mayfield? Those are legitimate questions that should be asked, in my opinion. In the case of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't think this is going to give them pause in terms of wanting to re-sign Baker Mayfield. In terms of Baker Mayfield, I don't know. I think it might give him a smidge of a pause, but I also still believe that Baker Mayfield does love the entirety of the Buccaneers organization. And while there may be a little bit pause there, I still believe that ultimately Baker will be back. And then if you're Todd Bowles, do you think now, okay, do I want to get a guy? Do I want to promote Thad Lewis, who I already like a lot? I've had him on my coaching staff for a few years now, and I've worked with him since, Bruce Arians was around, and he's worked with Baker before. Do I say, okay, I want to bring in a guy like Zach Robinson? He worked with Baker for a month whenever he was with the LA Rams, and just have somebody that Baker's familiar with? These are the types of questions that need to be asked, folks, because again, it goes back to that ripple effect. It goes back to the overall effect that Dave Canales getting hired away has. And these are the types of questions that should be asked. But what do you guys think? What do you feel like the future of Baker Mayfield is now after Dave Canales has been hired away? Would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about this. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now. A lot of content coming out here today on the channel. We have so much to talk about. But goodbye for now. See you guys soon. And go Bucs.